Well, how do we find unity? This miracle of God. An old preacher named A.W. Tozer spent half his life practically on his knees praying for revival to come. And he gives us a clue. Read what he said. He said, has it ever occurred to you that 100 pianos, all tuned to the same fork, are automatically tuned to each other? They're of one accord by being tuned not to each other, but to another standard, to which each one must individually bow. So, 100 worshipers meeting together, each one looking away to Christ, are in heart nearer to each other than they could possibly be were they to become unity conscious and turn their eyes away from God to strive for closer fellowship. I thought it would be amazing to create a real-life example out of Tozer's quote. And so I went to Memphis, Tennessee, Bellevue Baptist Church, where Adrian Rogers preached for decades, and asked if I could borrow their orchestra for a half an hour. Watch this.
All right, guys, good.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, how are you this
Kirk,
evening?
how are you?
It's great to see you.
Thanks, great to see you. Thanks for letting me borrow your orchestra.
Absolutely, they're all yours.
Perfect, thank you. Hey, everybody, I appreciate your help tonight. This is what I'd like for us to do. Would you play Amazing Grace? We all know the song. It's beautiful. I know you know how to play it. And as for the note to tune to, you just figure it out. I mean, you're the experts, and I want you to just get into your sections and tune together. All right? If you notice that the person next to you is not quite in tune, play louder. Help them out, just drown out their sound until they tune to you. Okay? All right, let's try that.
Okay.
No. Now I want to try something different.
Okay.
This time, I want all of you to tune to this standard, this one pure note. We in tune?
I believe we're ready.
Did you notice when they strove for unity and harmony, there was no harmony. There was no unity. There was just this loud mess. It was an ugly, awful, gonging sound. Nobody wants that. No, you want to run away from a concert that sounds like that. It wasn't until they stopped. And each one of them listened for that one pure note. And they began to tune to that note. It was only then that they could find harmony. And did you notice that they weren't playing the same instruments? They weren't even playing the same notes. Some were playing the harmony, some were playing the melody. Some were playing on the upbeat, some were playing on the downbeat. But that's what gave it its richness, its fullness, its dimension, and its overwhelming beauty. Now that's what people see in us. when we're fighting and we're arguing and we're getting louder and insisting that they tune to our way of thinking on a particular subject. It's an ugly, awful mess. No wonder people don't want to be involved, and they run the opposite direction. I want us tonight, right now, to stop. And each one of us, in theaters all across this nation, to listen for that one pure note. It's been ringing all night. It's the one note that brings harmony between the races, brings unity between the haves and the have-nots. It bridges the gender divide, the political divide, the religious divide, and that one note is Jesus Christ. Listen to its sound one last time. In Ephesians chapter 4, be completely humble and gentle. Be patient, bearing with one another in love. Make every effort to preserve the unity of the Spirit through the bond of peace. You see, we don't create the unity, we preserve the unity that God has already created. And we preserve it by being humble, gentle, being patient with one another, not drowning each other out, bearing with one another. That implies that we have differences and we need to bear with one another in love. And that is our bond, and that is our peace. So there's the strategy. Did you catch it? The strategy for unity in the midst of hostility and conflict. Come to the place where God has already established the unity. Come to Christ. How do you do that? The same way that I did. The same way that Ravi did. The same way that Dr. Carson did. I get downwind of myself. I recognize that my own selfishness and pride is my greatest enemy toward unity with God and with my brothers and my sisters. And I need to turn away from that selfishness. And I need to understand that my greatest offense is primarily vertical. And it's put up a wall of separation between me and God. And God will bring that wall down by me surrendering my life to Him and putting my faith in the one that He sent to reconcile me to Him, Jesus Christ. And I have an attitude of humility with a willingness to live according to His ways. And then I begin to preserve that place of unity with those around me by being humble, learning to be patient, gentle, and bearing with one another in love. You know, it's happening right now as we're looking at each other. You look to your left and look to your right. These are people you're going to be spending eternity with. I feel it in this room. We come from so many different places and backgrounds, and yet God is tuning our heartstrings to play the same song of love and peace and unity.